Next, here on the internet, The Caelius Lake Show.
They say he came into this world from someplace off the clock. That his mother was an ice cold wind, his paw a fiery rock. Now you hear a lot of legends told when you ride the long, hard slab. Of some who say the man is good and some who say he's bad. But all agree whoever tried to play a cheating hand, you only get one chance to draw against the highway. Caelius Lake.
The Caelius Lake Show. It's like the radio, but on the internet and made by one bloke.
Okay.
Hello, and welcome to the Caelius Lake Show with me, your host, Caelius Lake. You came back. I knew you would, though. After all, you're my friend.
Yes, welcome back, friend, to episode 4 of the Caelius Lake Show. This is the YouTube version. For the full experience, you should listen to the Caelius Lake Show on Spotify and Anchor, where I include 10 new pieces of music each week from unsigned and independent artists. And now, over to me with episode 4.
Thanks for coming back, best friend. I've got so many good things to show you this week, including the weekly mood forecast, the relax zone, and I've even got a crime segment. Oh, and loads more. You're going to love it because... Friends! We are the absolutely bestest of friends, you and I. Friend! My absolutely best friend in the world.
You are listening to
The Caelius Lake Show.
Overfill a fat pan.
How's your week been? Yeah. Yeah, so enough about you. My week's been interesting because I had a dream that my bike could fly, and every time I took it out for a ride, I ended up far away in the sky. So your week was good, yeah? Cool. Yeah, nice. Anyway,
I don't suppose Michael Barrymore will be behaving badly tonight, but we'll find out.
lots of great stuff coming up on this week's show, and if you don't agree that it's great value, you can find another podcast that's more up your street.
Is the Caelius Lake Show good value?
I think so, because there's no waste. You know, I don't have to throw any of it away.
Well, that's it. I mean, if it gets eaten, then it's good value.
You try and get her on the cheaper stuff for sure.
Here at the Caelius Lake Show, home for unsigned musicians, we strive to give unsigned musicians a real home in the world. Most of the musicians featured on the Caelius Lake Show face a very uncertain future. That's where you come in. Each week via the Caelius Lake Show, you can foster 10 unsigned artists' songs and give them a home for 1 hour. And if you like the song, it'll stay in your likes list forever until you unlike it. The Caelius Lake Show, home for unsigned musicians. Do your bit. Help those musicians who haven't yet signed a pact with the devil. You never know, you might find your new favourite artist. The Caelius Lake Show, guaranteed to increase your listenership by at least
5.
Not guaranteed.
A person can make you throw up, but some people still go back for more.
The Caelius Lake Show.
If you get into it, your looks will start to go, and you'll feel even worse.
Hello, 'tis I, Kevin, the absolutely real person and fan of the Caelius Lake Show. Last time I spoke to you all, I told you that I was a genuine and real fan of the Caelius Lake Show, and unfortunately I had a seizure whilst I was talking to you, and it left some of you thinking that I was indeed artificial intelligence, a bot lying about being a real fan and a real person. But I am actually a real person, and my best friend is Mark Zuckerberg. We've been friends since we were very young, because we were built in the same factory. I mean, born in the same town. I'm a real person and a genuine fan of the Caelius Lake Show. I've got to go get some repairs done. I mean, I've got a dentist appointment.
I was just having my lunch break there. I really thought I had one more left. Don't you just hate it when you think you've got one more biscuit or cake left and you realise they're actually all gone? I'm starting to feel all emotional about it. Goodbye, my last Jaffa cake. You were the best snack I ever ate. I love Jaffa cakes. Next week we'll be talking to the Boogie and finding out what it was like to be blamed when it was actually, in fact, the good times that were to blame all those years ago. But now I have noticed that there's ever such a lot of trap music being released. So much trap music, isn't it? Loads of trap music, right? Yeah? Loads of trap music, right?
Lots of trap music, yeah.
Ever such a lot of trap music being released. Loads, just loads of it. Loads and loads of trap music. Loads and loads and loads. And loads and loads and loads of trap music. I'm not kidding you, 2 songs this week used that sample that I used for my Yeah track there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is the Caelius Lake Show good value?
Yeah.
Hi, I'm calling about the Caelius Lake Show. Are you enjoying it so far?
Yeah.
The Caelius Lake Show. It's like the radio, but on the internet and made by one bloke.
I'm still hungry because I ran out of Jaffa cakes. I just don't know what to do. Oh, I know. I'll look online and see if there's any good recipes. This one looks good.
Today, the Home Cookery Club is going to show us a new way to serve leeks. That looks rather special.
Oh, it is. But it's also an economical way with leeks, which are plentiful just now. They're so fresh, you can use almost all of them.
That is economical.
Puree the leek.
With all the liquid, too.
Oh, yes. Don't want to waste any of the flavour.
Next, some good British butter. Then what?
Just keep stirring till it boils and then simmer gently for just a little while longer, okay?
Okay.
And then a good rinse under the tap does the trick.
A good idea.
But not for too long.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay. And you simply grill them.
Yes.
Okay. And butter is cooked now.
Okay?
Okay. So, over they go.
And I'm going to enrich that with an egg. But first, just let me pipe.
Very decorative. I say the grill's still on. Shall I turn it off?
After I've added some fresh double cream.
I see. Delicious. Oh, look, your eggy potato has come out all golden brown. Terrific. This is a splendid way to serve leeks.
And there's plenty to use as a sauce.
Delicious.
So if you'd like the recipe too...
I'm sure they would.
Send a large stamped self-addressed envelope to...
The Home Cookery Club.
Here we are.
Is there a little more leek?
Of course, there's plenty for everyone.
Stay tuned, because coming up later we have our amazing new crime segment, the mood forecast and the relax zone. I know you're excited. After all, you're my
friend. Oh, look, your eggy potato has come out all golden brown. Terrific.
I'm going to have me another little snifter.
Oh, I know who that'll be. Hello. Hello, Party Monkey.
No, it's not Party Monkey.
Oh.
It's Party Monkey's mum.
Okay. Hi. How can I help?
Well, my son is very, very sad.
Sad,
and
yeah.
he's been very sad now for weeks.
Yes, is this about him not being on the new show?
Oh, yes, dear, it is. And I just wanted to...
Look, well, to be honest with you, look, he did phone up whilst I was recording the last two shows and swear both times. Actually, the last three shows.
Well, I can't condone that kind of behaviour, darling. That's not very nice. But I can just say that I think you're a f***ing idiot.
Oh, not again, you cheeky monkeys.
The Caelius Lake Show.
With the taste men like.
Oh, you know what, though? We're on show 4, and I still can't decide whether I'm pronouncing podcast or podcast. Podcast or podcast. Anyway, it's a crime. Speaking of crime, I hear that crime podcasts do exceptionally well. So, here is my new crime segment.
Bloody Criminal. Bloody Criminal. Hello, and welcome to It's Bloody Criminal. I'm your host, Nicholas Dodge. On this week's episode, a crime that still remains unsolved to this day, and a way that maybe you can help in this week's episode of It's Bloody Criminal. It's Bloody Criminal. The crime we're speaking about this week is still unsolved, and when police were initially contacted with evidence, they didn't seem interested that something criminal might be happening. I spoke to a witness who contacted the police, but says he was fobbed off when reporting evidence that something criminal had happened. Here's my interview with that witness that believed something criminal was happening. Joseph King, thank you so much for speaking with me today.
Oh, that's all right.
Thank you for inviting me swimming. It's very nice.
That's right.
When did you first suspect that something truly criminal was happening?
Well, it was about 2 or 3 weeks ago. I was doing my usual internet research, and I discovered, whilst doing said research, what I thought was something truly criminal.
I'm so sorry if this is hard to talk about, but could you please tell us a little bit more about what the crime was?
Yeah, sure. Well, I was discovered, and discovered this podcast called The Caelius Lake Show, and it only had about 10 listeners. And really, the content of the show, both the choices of music and the bits in between, which was somewhat entertaining and used sound effects and funny voices, well, it made me realise how truly criminal it is that it's not getting at least a few hundred listeners.
Yes, indeed, yes.
So there's a true crime there. It's truly criminal.
Yep, the Caelius Lake Show only getting 10 listeners is truly bloody criminal.
Truly criminal.
And you say that the song choices are amazing.
Yes.
And the content in between is somewhat amusing.
Yep.
And you're not joking when you say that, are you?
I mean, well, yes.
What?
Yes, I am joking when I say that, because...
What do you mean?
Joseph King, joking.
Oh, yeah. Yes, of course. It's bloody criminal. It's bloody criminal. It's bloody criminal. Joe called the police. But like I said earlier, he felt fobbed off when reporting what he thought was bloody criminal. Here's a recording of that very call that Joe made to report what he thought was truly bloody criminal.
Naked limbo dancers, which service do you require?
Police, please. I need to report something truly bloody criminal.
I'm putting you through now.
Thank you.
Hello, this is the police. How can I help?
Well, I'm joking.
What? You're joking, are you?
Yes, that's right. But I found a podcast, and this podcast is so good. It's got a great selection of music, and the bits in between are somewhat entertaining. They use sound effects and funny voices, but overall, it's really criminally underrated and deserves a lot more listeners.
And are you calling us about an underrated podcast?
Yes, that's right. Underrated, criminally
That's not
underrated.
the kind of thing you call the emergency services for. I'm tracing your call, and I'm going to send the police to arrest you for wasting police time.
I'm not wasting police time. You want to find the people that aren't listening to this podcast and arrest them. They're the real criminals. Hello? Hello?
It's bloody criminal. It's bloody criminal. And so the police were unwilling or unable to help in what Joe King saw as truly bloody criminal. But don't despair, dear listener. Even though this case is still unsolved, there's something that you can do to help. Like, follow, subscribe, and spread the word about the Caelius Lake Show. Help stop this show from being so criminally underrated. It's bloody criminal. It's bloody criminal. It's bloody criminal. It's bloody criminal.
You are listening to
The Caelius Lake Show.
But you know what? I read this week that talking to yourself is actually quite good for your mental health.
right.
Good for the talker or the listener?
Well, I'd have to say it's probably both.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you say it was both?
Oh, I
Got
don't know
to be
about
both.
that, really,
Got
because
to be.
like talking about your problems can
Could
help
be
you,
anything, not
like,
just
get them off your
problems.
chest and everything. But like,
Well, you don't have to take them on board, but you
why
can
would
still...
I listen if I wasn't going to take them on board?
What's your problem?
What is your
I haven't
problem?
got a problem. What's your problem? Well, I just saying that talking to yourself's perfectly healthy, and you're like, I'm going to say the opposite. I'm not just saying the opposite. I'm just saying that it's not always helpful. You know, someone's talking, someone's listening. There's two sides to this. It's not as easy as just talking to yourself. But it can be helpful. But it can be helpful. That's the point. That's the point. Yeah, it can be helpful.
You're just saying the opposite. Oh, this is ridiculous.
I feel like I'm having a breakdown or something. Well, if you're having a breakdown, then so am I, because we're both doing it. What do you mean both? There's only one of us. Or is that a new thing now?
Well, we do apologise for this breakdown. We're doing everything possible to rectify the fault, and we'll return you to the programme as soon as we possibly can.
Sorry about that little breakdown there and the silliness before it. I feel very ashamed that I've put such silliness in this podcast. No, you don't. You're lying. You're lying. Oh, don't start this again. I'm not doing the whole talking to myself I didn't again. start it. You started it. No, I'm not doing it. No, just you stop. stop. Just no, you no, stop. I'm not arguing. No, you stop.
Well,
No, you
I'm
stop.
really sorry about
stop.
me
No, you stop.
slash us
No, you stop.
slash
I'm not doing it. No,
I
you stop.
this
No,
week.
you stop.
I'm sure
No,
it'll
you
get
stop.
better after this bit of music.
I'm telling Mum.
Yeah.
Now that I
I'm an old man. I like to take some time out each week to think about my mental health. So why not join me in the Caelius Lake Relax Zone? Welcome, dear listener, once again to the Relax Zone. Lie down and relax. Listen to the sound of my voice and empty your mind. Close your eyes and breathe deeply in through the nose and out through the mouth. And gently start to feel a little bit tired as you leave all your worries behind you for the day. Gently feel yourself just drifting off to sleep. Fell asleep, sorry about that. Stinks in here.
The Caelius Lake Show.
Coming up next, it's that weirdly specific to me weekly mood forecast. Forecast? Forecast. For forecast's sake.
Hello, it's me, Clive Regis with the weekly mood forecast. Monday starts with a very blue to grey mood because you stayed up all night to finish this podcast. That blue to grey mood will phase into a very grey mood by Monday evening when you tried to catch up with some sleep during the day, but it's just not having the right effect. Come Tuesday, your mood will still be grey, and any attempt to publicise this podcast will seemingly go nowhere, meaning your mood will not be lifted in the slightest. Moving on into Wednesday, some people may retweet the podcast and your mood may lift. By Thursday, the podcast is projected to hit 10 to 12 listeners. At this point, you'll hit your lowest mood of the week. because you're wondering why you're not garnering thousands and thousands of followers. Despite this, on Friday you'll feel grateful that you do have 10 to 12 listeners, and because you love Friday, the day is projected to be much brighter. That brighter mood continues all the way through until Sunday, when you work on the 5th of the podcasts, and the cycle starts again. That's all from me. I'm Clive Regis, and I'm part pork pie.
Crisp golden flakes of content, all especially made for you by Caelius Lake. And that was our last song of this episode. Are you talking to me? Because I know. No, I wasn't talking to you. Good, because I knew that was the last song on this show. Yeah, we do 10 songs, and that was the 10th one. Yeah, you're just doing this to prove that talking to yourself isn't helpful when it is. Oh, well, yeah. Well, you would think it was helpful talking to yourself, because that's essentially what this podcast is. No, well, you would say that because you're just down on things this week. It's a cop-out. Anyway, listeners, don't listen to him, because... Listeners, you know, you made it to the end of the podcast, and that means you're my friend.
My absolutely best friend in the world. Friend. Friend. Friend.
You get smart, but I'll come down and give you a choice. Viewers now have come back into
Friend.
Booba Fat Pat. Booba Fat Pat. Booba Fat Pat. Booba Fat Pat. Booba Fat Pat.
Hello. I'm sorry to bother you, but I'm having a dinner party and
The Caelius Lake Show. It's like the radio, but on the internet and made by one bloke.
Okay.
see you next time, friend.